Hi, and welcome to my garden themed tier tray decor ideas with Spring Decor DIYs. Starting with, I'm using a few items from the kitchen toy sets and something which were lying in my pantry and don't use them or don't need them. So this is a little picture in plastic in bright orange color that I'm going to paint, and I'm going to use give it a little galvanized metal look because I'm going to make some items from the garden, because this is going to be a spring garden themed decor video, DIY video. So for the galvanized look, I'm starting with a base coat of gray color. So I'm applying it all over the picture, in the base, at the bottom, or the portion which will very likely not to be seen, inside as well, every corner of the handles, everywhere. I'm going to coat it really well with the gray color and let it dry before going on to the next step. I also found a spoon and a fork, and they are of the sizes and shape that suits my today's spring decor idea, and I'm going to paint it again in gray color because these are going to be some tools which I'm going to give galvanized look again. So I'm painting some gray color on the top as well as bottom, making sure that the edges are also very well covered with the gray color. I'm not painting the tip portion. As you see, I'm holding it and I'm not painting it there because it's going to be the handle. Now while these three items dry, I found this black colored table calendar, which is a number of use. I used it once for doing some craft, but it stands really well, and this is going to be the base on which I'm going to build up my decor. Now you can also use something like a palette or a little sign for doing the same kind of decor. I'm using this because it's in black and will have a little chalkboard kind of look, and as you see, I'm using white acrylic paint and writing the words "Welcome to my potting shed." I even made tiny little garden tools here. Now this board, as I showed you, already has a hook inserted in it. It's just a simple hook for hanging small items or a keychain. It's a small hook like that, and I had just screwed it in the center, almost in the center of this board earlier for a craft, and I'll let it be because I'm going to use this. And if you don't have one, just use one of the hooks that are used for holding keychains. That can be just inserted here. Now my little tiny tools are dry, and I'm using a darker shade of gray, and the same gray that I used for the first coat. I'm just dabbing it very roughly, haphazardly, but evenly all over the surface of the picture, and later also onto my fork and the spoon, because I want to get that galvanized look. So it's like blotches of darker gray and a lighter gray, and cover it all over. And same thing I'm repeating on the spoon and the fork, because they are going to be the shovel, the trowel, scoop, weeding equipments. So they are going to look like galvanized iron tools. So after this, again, I have to let this thing dry, and finally I took some silver color and added a touch of silver to it, which I'll do later. Now finally I took some silver color, and I'm just again blotching it onto the surface of the picture and the tools to give that authentic galvanized look. As you see, the effect has come beautifully. I took a small thin strip of paper tape and I just rolled it tight so as to build up some body, and I'm sticking it onto the handle portion of the tools, which are going to look like wooden handles, and then cover it all with a little more of paper tape. And then I'm using some bright orange acrylic paint to cover the handle. After the first coat of orange color, I'm using some black. I mixed a little black to my orange color and just doing a little bit of shading to give it like 3D effect. It's like used, it's like dirtied a wooden handle of the tools. So it's going to give that effect. Now generally these tools or galvanized buckets, they all come with some label, marking or a number. So for that effect I'm using a little bronze color and writing a number 5 and making a border around it, and I think this really looks authentic. Now remember the dirty bronze acrylic paint that I used earlier for the handle? I'm just using it to give the look of a rust deposit on the edges of my picture, a bit on the base and maybe a little on the handles. And I'll do the same with the other tools as well. Now bringing back my calendar or bringing back my chalkboard sign here. Now on the hook I shall dangle my pitcher or the bucket or the garden container, and on the other side where there is a lot of space left, I'm going to adjust and see where those tools look good, and I'm going to glue them there as if they're hanging from the wall. These are organized tools of the potting shed. And finally I took some greenery which I'm going to put inside the container and maybe add a little flowers to it later on, and I am absolutely loving this. For my second garden DIY, I took this big jug, again from the toy kitchen set. It's in bright yellow color. Now, it looks really plastic. So I took again a white chalk paint and I'm just dabbing it using a sponge all over it. All over it in one even coat. One coat will definitely not suffice. I'll definitely come back and put a second coat once the first coat is dry. Now there are always certain corners or the joints where the sponge cannot reach. So for those areas I used brush to apply the paint. Now it's a chalk paint, so where there are the joints I'm just dabbing it thickly, the paint over the joints, and then I'll just smoothen everything with the sponge again. Let this dry and do a second coat, and after the second coat I'm really loving it. It looks like stoneware or a stone finish, a ceramic. It's just so good. You can give a speckled pottery look with some few speckles or dots of color or add more color to it, but I just want to leave it like this because I love it. For my third DIY, I wanted to plant something. So I took a mini earthen pot or mini earthen cup or kulha, and I have this fake tulips made out of flour and a skewer, and a video long back. I'm just going to took three branches of them, make them stand right in the center of this cup or the pot, and just fill all around with some green moss and tuck it really in so that it stands fit there. If needed, one can glue it. And a cute little bulb, a spring blooming bulb is ready. I always make some signs, some words. So I took another small white colored sign to work with, and I'm drawing painting. I'm using some color pens and I'm painting a little bit of dandelions. Some of them are blowing away, and writing my words. Now you realize the mistake. Okay, that happens so often with me, and therefore I always prefer to first write it with pencil and then go over with color pen or anything, because I invariably make mistakes. Anyway, sometimes mistakes can be managed. So my words go as some see weeds, some see wishes. So more than wishes, be vigilant, keep your eyes open to any opportunities, anything good that life has to offer you, and take it and be happy and grateful that it came your way. My today's video is part of the Welcome to My Garden Challenge that is being hosted by Missy from Crafty Cove, Tammy from The Rusted Willow, and Amanda from Six Kids and a Slogan, and their spotlight crafter this month is Farm Charm Chic. Now for the final reveal. This is how the whole setup, or I put everything, all my today's DIYs together onto a tier tray, and honestly I am loving this. I'm anyways little partial to chalkboards or blackboards, and I am in love with this picture. I also like the blooming bulb of tulips in the mini pot. Anyway, you tell me which one was your favorite, and if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you're new here, do join me. Thank you so much everybody. I really appreciate your time and support. I'll see you very soon. Take care. Bye bye.